What up, everybody? Welcome in. Topic of discussion today is being overlooked. Have you ever been overlooked before? Have you ever felt that pain of being overlooked? It's it's not a good feeling, is it? It it it's just knowing that you have the answers or knowing you have the capability to do something, and then people are just not giving you the time of day, not hearing you out, not using your ideas, or hearing your ideas, telling you they suck, and then implementing your ideas and getting credit for your ideas. Like, ugh, so many times in my life this has happened to me, and I guarantee they probably happen to you too. And it's not a good feeling. It's really not. If you haven't heard about 150M, 150MG, it is an awesome community. You come in, you spread love, you get expert advice on how to create content, and you get a personal manager that will literally lead you to success. So so tap in. My email is brandonj150m at gmail.com. brandonj150m at gmail.com. So if you have any questions, go ahead, shoot me an email, and I can get you in there. But yeah, we're gonna keep it rolling, keep it pushing. Being overlooked. So when you think about the Bible, like what's a prime example of someone being overlooked? Do, 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 dude. All right, all right, all right. My bad. Back on topic. So yeah, a prime example would be David and Goliath, right? Goliath looked at David like, I can stand on one foot, one hand behind my back, and use only my pinky with my eyes closed, and I'll smash this little boy into oblivion. Into oblivion. You know, he had no doubt in his mind that he was about to murder that man. But you already know David wasn't playing no games. He was like, okay, I got God on my side. Overlook me if you want to. You gonna catch this slingshot right to your neck, boy. You gonna get put down. So yeah, so just like that example from the Bible, David and Goliath, like that happens in everyday life all the time. You're doing something great. You have a great idea at your job. You're with your friends. You're talented, and they're just like, no, you're not. And then like they just want you to feel bad about yourself. They don't want to give you credit for some reason. It's really weird why people do that. I don't know why people. It's stupid. But if they are doing that, get away from them. Stop being around them because they do not want to see you grow. They do not want to see you be successful. They want you stuck in a little box to where you can't get out. They want you hidden from the world so they can take all the credit from your God-given glory. So remember that. If anyone's belittling you or if anyone's not hearing you clearly or not taking your ideas or thoughts into consideration, just leave. You don't even gotta say nothing. Just walk away. You know, you don't gotta say shit to them. They, it's nothing. Leave them in the dust. Skirt out of there. There's no reason to stick around. But so I'll give you an example from my life. I have many, many, many examples of being overlooked. Um, I could talk about sports because I was always so when I was young, I was actually very, very I was like one of the fastest kids in my class. I was skinny, I was athletic, and then some things happened, which I'll probably get to in some videos later down the road, but I'm not gonna share that on my first video. I'm not gonna get that deep. I'm not gonna get into the trauma quite yet, you know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all don't want to hear that yet anyway. It's too deep. I don't want to start crying on here on my first video. Because I will. I'll shed a tear. I'll get them crocodile tears going. Uh, no, I ain't gonna. But all right. Anyway, my bad for being extra. I be getting off topic. That ADHD be kicking in. But I got ADHD, but I can do like 18 things at once. Okay. back to it, back to it, back to it, back to it. Being overlooked. So, prime example. I had a job where I worked in the after school program, right? It was, and I was to the point where I was starting to run my own after school program. And we had about, well, actually, it was during COVID. This is the example I'm talking about. It was during COVID. So I had to run an after school program from my house virtually. So kids would log on. We would have a cool little warm up activity. We would have we would have like games. We'd do arts and crafts. I would go drop off materials to everyone's house so that way we could all do it together virtually. It was a really good time. I actually had a parent tell me like, "Oh my gosh, my kid's been talking so much more and asking so much more questions. She's really gotten out of her shell." And this was all virtually, so that made me proud. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, "Oh, like I'm doing my thing." But that's not an example of being over. But anyway, it's because my bosses and the staff, fellow staff, certain staff, they adored and they appreciated all the hard work I put into the program. And I would come on, I would make sure there's a lesson plan. I would do all of that. And I would make sure all the kids are accounted for. I would stay after and help them with their homework, this, that, and other. And so, because it was virtual, schools were combining their programs. They were they were putting their programs together, right? So it was my school and another school. And I'm not gonna say no names or anything like that throughout this whole thing, but I'm not gonna. So yeah, so it was my school and another school, and we would get on, we would talk, and we would have program. It was going great. Like the kids were loving it, the staff was loving it, everyone was doing a great job. And at the end of the year, the one of the ADs, she gave me the worst report I've ever received at this job. And it's like she's like I wasn't engaged, I wasn't trying, um basically just shitting on me. Like it was the worst performance evaluation I've ever had. And I'm just like, how? Like literally the parents are happy, like the staff is happy. Like even the kids like from the other school, like they were happy. That program was happy. And yeah, and I even went above and beyond and like when COVID, because like at the end of the year, it got to a point where people could have functions and meet face to face. And I hosted a event at the school and invited the kids because it's a requirement for to get kids to sign up for the summer program for like everyone's program. So because I did that, I actually got extra kids from my site and the other school's site to join the summer program. So like I was going above and beyond doing extra stuff that other schools weren't even doing or other programs weren't even doing. And the AD was like just shitting on me. Gave me this horrible report and I was just like, damn, like how? And then like and another thing, that same AD. So I had an idea, like they're, oh, how can we get an incentive for attendance? Like I was like, what if we got really cool like hoodie sweatshirts? Because I live in Michigan and it gets cold. And I was like, what if we got really cool hoodie sweatshirts that said like after school all stars for like attendance and everyone who shows up a certain amount of days, they get this really nice cool hoodie. And then she just shut it down. She was like, "Meh, I know that's gonna be too expensive. That's not a good idea. Blah 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 blah." And I'm just like, whatever. Like, I think that's a good idea, but I shrugged it off. I didn't think nothing about it. I continued to just do program and whatnot. And then, like 2 weeks later, we're in an all staff meeting. Like everybody's there, all the programs, all the coordinators, all the YDCs. And then this lady has the nerve to come on like, all right, so I came up with an idea to get to boost attendance. So if any student reaches a certain amount of days, they're gonna get these really cool hoodies. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. And she didn't shout me out. She didn't give me no credit. She just she just acted like it was her thing. She did that. She came up with it, and I had nothing to do with it. So I'm just like, is she gonna? Nope. I waited that whole long 2 hour meeting, just sitting there like, hmm. And I never said anything. I never told anybody. Eventually, I did. I'm not gonna lie. I told my staff. I was like, man, I was like, you know that hoodie, that was my idea. Like I didn't go blabbing around to everybody, but like I had to tell somebody because I kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. But so, anyways, everyone's like, oh, that's awesome. So we ended up doing it, and it did end up boosting attendance. Like kids ended up getting hoodies. Um, honestly, we had way too many hoodies because yeah. Uh, so I didn't give out all my hoodies. I still have a big old box of them at my parents' house, but I don't know what they did with them. But anyway, um, yeah. So being overlooked doesn't feel great, right? So that's an example. I have plenty of examples. So let me go back in. We can go into sports, all right? So we are going to go in. I'm going to talk about high school baseball, all right? High school baseball. So growing up, no, actually, I'm not even gonna go to high school. We go because I could talk about that another time. I've been overlooking the sport so many times, it's not even funny. But you know how it is, and like I'm not being cocky. I'm not just saying like I'm good or this, that, and the other. Like I literally had like stats and statistics to prove it. So like, so we'll say Little League. So it's the last year of Little League. So the year before you go. So it's like when you're 12 and 13. So it was my last year of Little League. Our team won the championship that year. Yeah, we were killing it. Hey, we won the Millwood Little League championship, right? It was a good feeling. It was awesome. And I was batting number 3 on the team. So like, the third batter is normally one of the best hitters, right? And so I'm one of the best hitters on the championship team. And previously before that, I've made all-stars. So at the end of the year in Little League, like the best get selected to be on the All Star team. So the only 2 years I didn't make it was my first year in Little League and then my last year in Little League. But every other year I made the All Star team. So like, whoop de doo, it's not that cool, whatever. But so I made it, or no, and then my last year, so I'm the bat number 3 on the championship team. And I didn't make the All Star team. Um, they were like, nope, nope, you didn't make it. And I was like, what? What? I was like, but I made it. Like, and that hurt. Like, I'm not gonna lie, because I had a bunch of friends on the team, and they was all like, oh, I made it. Nah, nah, nah. And like, and I know I'm better than like half these dudes. Maybe not all of them, but I've always been middle of the pack. Like, I've never been the worst, and I've never been the best. But I get mine. I grind. All right, I'm decent. I'm mad decent. But so yeah, so I'm a little hurt about that. People bragging in my face, talking crap. And then, a week goes by. I'm just at home chilling, just hanging out, watching Scooby Doo, nothing big. And there's a knock on the door. I'm just like, nobody ever comes to the front door like that. And then I'm just chilling, so I ignore it. And then my dad comes up and he's like, hey, someone's at the door for you. And I was like, someone's at the door for me. And then I walk over there and it's one of the coaches for the All Star team. He's just like, "Hey, man, um, so our first baseman, he ended up getting hurt and he can't play. So we were wondering if you would like to join the team." And I looked right at him. I was like, "No, no, I'm good. Y'all had the chance." Like, nope. He's like, "Wait, why? Like, why don't you want to join?" I was like, literally, like, because you had a chance to pick me. I feel like I should have already been on the team, and I'm not gonna go because now you need me. Like tough loss, bud. You should already pick me. I should already been on the team. And then when he would have got hurt, we would have been straight. But yeah. Now tough luck. Go get him. And he was like, he was stunned. He couldn't believe it. He was just like, really? And then he was kind of, and then he just left. And I was just like, da 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 da. Yeah. So being overlooked, how does it feel? How do you feel about being overlooked? My bad. Oof, mouth getting dry. Oof. I don't, oof, I don't be making videos, but it's my first one. I hope y'all are enjoying it. Um, Let me know in the comments how I'm doing. But ooh, mm, yes, 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 indeedy. All right, all right. So yeah, we can keep going into sports. All right, keep going. So what's all right? Right, here's another one. Basketball. All right. So like I said, when I was real young, I was super skinny, one of the fastest kids in the class, one of the most athletic. Yada yada. Trauma happened. Not getting into it. But I ended up becoming very depressed as a young boy, and I gained lots and lots of weight. So I gained. So I'll say by 12, I was like 180 pounds, and I was not even 5 foot. I was short. I was like a beach ball. All right, I was a big boy. I was a big boy. But the funny thing is though, is I did not lose my athletic ability. Like I was still mad decent. I was still not the slowest, but I mean I wasn't fast anymore. I wasn't even close to being the fastest anymore. But I still wasn't the slowest kid. And I was still pretty coordinated and capable. So I still played sports. I still did my thing even as a little beach ball. And got mad. Like I earned my respect. I got mine. But in basketball though, man, the first like every time I played with random people, like played with new people, they would just underestimate me. Like they were, I'll let you shoot. You ain't gonna what? And then oh, that was like what? And then they want to start guarding me. Boop 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 boop. Layup. Yeah, I was pretty decent at basketball. Against anyway, but they would just look at me like, "Oh, this fat white kid is trash." And just that's basically how people like in every aspect of my life have felt to me. Like, "Oh, this dude is trash. The way he talks, he sounds country. He's dumb. He's not smart. Like, he doesn't have good ideas. He's a alcoholic. He's a pothead. I've just always been put in a box of being a bad person." When I've done nothing but show love to people. Like, if you know me, you know I will not shame you. Like, I might talk some trash, but if I go too far, I apologize. And I take accountability for it. And people just want to put me in this box. Like, I'm just, yeah. They overlook me. Like, they really think I'm just some trash can, some trash person. Like, no matter what I do. In baseball, like this wasn't more overlooked. It was more just like kind of whack. Like, well, junior year, it was we had a squad, and so I DH'd, and I didn't play defense, and the coaches called me their professional hitter, and literally I only got to play against the best teams. So like the teams with the best pitching and the best records, that's the only time I got to play, and it was like that both years. Cause like every time we played a team that had like slow pitching or pitchers who I know, I would just go up there and whack it. Like I had to sit out and just watch. And like even some of like the players of the team, like, why isn't Brandon playing? Why can't he play? And go, oh, we gotta let everyone get a chance to play. But like, so yeah, so I literally had to play against the best pitchers, and my batting average was still a 272 in varsity. So that's straight for. If I would have got to pad my stats, I probably could have got to like 354. But we'll never know now, will we? And yeah, that's not being that was that's just being disrespected, honestly. So you can share your thoughts about being disrespected as well. I feel like being disrespected goes hand in hand with being overlooked. It's just another form of disrespect. You know what I'm saying? So being overlooked, how does it feel? You know, how do you feel about it? When has it happened to you? Really think about that. You know, because it happens all the time. Like it doesn't have to be big things, but the more you let it happen, the more that happens to you, it just becomes a habit. And then you do end up getting put in that box. And then you do just go with the flow. And you don't show people how great you truly are. You don't let people see the gifts that God has given you. You you get put in a box and left there. And until I started praying every day and getting into this Bible and really, really seeking the Lord's guidance and advice, giving all my problems to Him, all my fears, all my doubts, all my anxieties, just really explaining to just talking to him like he's one of my friends. Like that's my relationship with God. Like once I started talking to him, like praying is like nor like me and him have like legit conversations like I'm talking to my friend. But like once I started really doing that and realizing that like that's actually a possibility and actually a thing, like my life just my confidence grew. I stopped letting people just quiet me and I started standing on what I believe. I started expressing my thoughts, my feelings. And you know what? People accepted it. They didn't, they might be offended a little bit like, "Oh, wow, like they might think I'm arrogant now or whatever or that I'm better than everybody." But no, that's not what it is at all. I'm just literally telling you how I feel and I'm telling you my truth. And if that offends you, I'm sorry. Like the truth hurts, but the truth makes you grow. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not being put in no box no more. I'm not being overlooked. I'm going to tell the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I'm not going to allow people to belittle me or act like I'm not special because I know God made me great. I know I'm gifted. I know I have talents, and it's all because of God. I owe God everything. Everything. My whole life has turned a whole 180. I I give him all the credit. I could not have done it without him. Like before I got to this point, like being overlooked was a norm. And it was almost comfortable and safe. Like that's how sad that is. Like once you allow it to happen so much, it just becomes a safe space. Like, oh, okay, I'm shy. Even though I'm not a shy person, I'm very outgoing and I'm very outspoken. I'm very goofy. I'm very silly. But it's like I can only show doses of that because like if I actually express how I really feel and like how I really like people would and like get offended and then I would care about how they feel and then I would be like, okay, and then yeah, back to like, okay, I'm gonna let them overlook me just so I keep them comfortable. I'm gonna let them overlook me to keep their feelings safe. I I'm gonna let them overlook me because I care more about them than myself. And then when I start, God's like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you doing that? God really was speaking to me like, dude, why? I made you great. That makes me angry when you dim your light. That makes me angry when you let people overlook you. Because I give you this confidence, I give you these words, I give you these ideas, and you're just worrying about people's feelings, even though it's gonna benefit them. He's like, stop doing that. Stop it. Stop. Like, tell the truth. Who gives a damn how people feel? And honestly, it's helped. It's kept real people in my life. And like now, I don't be around people who who try to put me in a box or I have to sugarcoat things to be around. I avoid those people. And my life has been doing nothing but getting better and better. I I I owe it all to our Lord and Savior, the Father, Son, and Holy Angels. I owe it all to them. They have guided me. They speak through me. They guide my steps. And I owe everything to them. So if you feel the same way, that's awesome. Put a thumbs up in the chat if you feel the same way about that. But or in the comments. Sorry. It's my first video, bud. So, but it's, mm, ugh, yeah, being overlooked is not fun. It's really not. It's really, really, really not. And I could go on and on. Like, especially being a fat kid, man. Woo! They just look at you like, oh, he's soft, or oh, he's slow, or oh, he's trash. And little do they know, I let my game do the talking. So yeah, and like I said, I'm not saying I'm the best or anything, but you gonna have to work for it. It ain't gonna be easy, my guy. You not like, and yeah, and long story short, God's put that love for myself back into my heart, and part of that, well, a big part of that is not letting people overlook me, not dimming my light to make people feel comfortable. Like when you let people overlook you, it becomes a habit and you get put in a box. So my advice, or if you got anything from this video, is just if you have good ideas, speak on it. And if people aren't giving you the credit where it's due, avoid them abruptly. You don't have to say another word to them. Like it's not against the rules to not be around people that don't respect you, that don't allow you to be great. It is not against the rules to do that. So if you find yourself around anybody, friends, family, staff at work, I mean, obviously you're gonna have to work with them, but like you don't have to be buddy buddy with them. You can like it's all business, and then just keep it pushing. So just don't let people overlook you anymore. Speak up, speak on it. And I'm not saying cuss people out or be disrespectful, but I'm just saying be confident, be strong. God's given you those gifts and those talents. So don't be shy with it. Just let people know that God's with me. So and if God's with me, who can be against me? Right? All right. Y'all stay blessed and I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I hope you enjoy it and I'm looking forward to talking to y'all again.